So there's an update on the accused Charlie Kirk assassinator Tyler James Robinson, who now goes by three names, just like every other assassinator, apparently. There's been some major developments here that is raising a lot of eyebrows, concerning that we witness, Kash Patel completely denouncing any more investigating of this case, saying that anyone that says something about it, they're obviously conspiracy theorists. We got to shut them up. We got to shut it down. Now this came out. So Charlie Kirk's accused assassin, Tyler Robinson, case a gag order is unprecedented in Utah. Over 3,000 witnesses, associates of the case, attorneys, family members, and even the press are subject to the order, threatened with potential contempt of court. So the Utah judges are putting a gag order to anyone associated with Charlie Kirk or Tyler Robinson and anyone reporting on this case as a way to silence them out. Why would you do that? Unless you were trying to cover up something, unless you don't want the truth to be revealed, which is what the same as Kash Patel going on to America's Voice told people, that anyone that's, talking about this or has concerns or maybe providing context of something is deemed a conspiracy theorist. Oh, the people that are questioning about, Utah Valley doing construction on the crime scene, that's considered a conspiracy theorist. It's conspiracy to question the supposed text between Tyler Robinson and his lover that looks like ChatGPT did it. It's conspiracy theorists. That's a way to shut people up. And now this gag order by the Utah judges that are prosecuting Tyler Robinson in this case, they're demanding that people stay silent about this. It's very, very interesting. So here is a local news outlet in Utah reporting about this new development.
His latest court hearing was brief, but some interesting things did happen, including one issue that could impact thousands of people here in Utah.
Good morning. Court is now in session.
Tyler Robinson was not present for the hearing. Instead, he listened in from the Utah County Jail. Lawyers focused on upcoming issues like evidence from the crime scene.
There is a substantial amount of discovery in this case, Your Honor. It's voluminous, to say the least.
His lawyers entered their formal appearance and declined to waive his right to a preliminary hearing. Judge Tony Graff has issued a gag order preventing anyone associated with the case from talking about it. It's to avoid pretrial publicity, already a big problem in a case with massive media exposure involving a high-profile figure like Charlie Kirk. But the judge wants to ensure a fairer trial for Robinson. It's also...
Yeah, I think people are going to be talking about a case concerning the fact that we witnessed on live, on camera, the assassination of Charlie Kirk. It was shared across social media. The FBI had botched this investigation, had lied to us previously on this case. Kash Patel then reopened the case after shutting it down when they caught Tyler Robinson. They didn't actually caught Tyler Robinson, by the way. Tyler Robinson confessed to his father, and his father told him to take it to the FBI. So the FBI did not catch Tyler Robinson. Tyler Robinson was fessed up by his father. That has not been investigated. They don't know where this lover is now that apparently did the text exchange that Tyler Robinson supposedly confessed to him. There's so many flaws to this. So obviously people are going to be talking about this. Obviously people are going to be sharing concerns. They're going to be sharing details. They may have some information that is reliable to this case. And what this judge is doing is completely diminishing that. He's completely silencing it down so that no further information, no further investigation, no one's allowed to cover this. And the reason that you would do that is to try to prosecute this as fast as possible, put Tyler Robinson behind bars, or worst case, death penalty, because that's what you can get in Utah State, and make this into a big conspiracy. Because they don't want people to know the truth. They don't want people to know what caused this incident, what the lead up to the incident was. They don't want to tell you about why they covered up the crime scene, why Turning Point USA turned against Charlie Kirk, why one of the employees at the event immediately disassembled a camera that was right behind Charlie Kirk, which is crucial evidence to the FBI. They don't want anyone to talk about that. Very interesting. Very interesting.
Also brought up a big issue involving thousands of people.
We're seeking some clarification with respect to the phrase all witnesses, Your Honor. There are a number of witnesses that have yet to be identified that will likely be used in the state's case. This occurred in front of 2,000 to 3,000 students at Utah Valley University. So we're in the process of identifying those witnesses. And so those individuals are presently unknown right now.
The court will rule that as the witnesses become known to each side, that information is conveyed to abide by this order. Obviously, there are potentially many witnesses, and so it's not the expectation that you would be able to do that up front, but as they become known.
The judge made it clear he wants to ensure Robinson's constitutional rights will be protected, as well as the rights of the victim.
Counsel, regardless of who is watching, whether it is the nation or a single individual, we must fulfill our roles with integrity, civility, and diligence. I encourage each of you to give your very best to this case. Neither Mr. Robinson nor the people of Utah deserve anything less than the fair and impartial administration of justice.
Any comment? Outside court, lawyers declined to comment. Any comment?
Not today. Not today. Thanks, though.
Robinson will be back here in court in person for another hearing on October 30th.
So there you go. He's going to be back on October 30th, which is next Thursday. And they put a gag order onto witnesses, spectators, the press, anyone's associated with Charlie Kirk. So people like Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, any of the people that have spoke to Charlie Kirk that are associated with Turning Point USA, they're not allowed to report on this, according to this new ruling. Why is that? Why is that? Why specifically would they put this gag order on this case when there's so much that needs to be reported on, there needs to be investigated? They even admit that the witnesses they can't name. There's so many people at attendance that saw what they saw on that campus and haven't been investigated. The FBI has not granted further evidence. They have not shown any more security camera footage. They have not shown any evidence concluding that Tyler Robinson did climb the building with a supposed sniper rifle, assembled it, and then disassembled it, dropped down to that building, tucking this rifle that's bigger than anyone's leg, and somehow reassembled the rifle without the screwdriver because the screwdriver was left on top of that building. Like, none of it made sense. None of the official story made sense. And that's why people are still talking about this. They're still trying to find and find any more evidence to have some sort of lead, to have some sort of real investigation on why Charlie Kirk was shot and killed on September the 10th in Utah Valley University. That's why people are still talking about this. It's not conspiracy. It's a conspiracy to people that want you to shut up, like Kash Patel, like the government, just like all the people during 9/11 that used the word truther and made it sound like a bad thing. Oh, you're a 9/11 truther. Yeah, I want to get to the bottom of a national tragedy that killed 3,000 people and more. I want to get to the bottom of it and figure out exactly what happened on that day. Forgive me. How is calling out the truth and finding the truth considered a bad thing? Well, it is for people that want to get away with something. They want to cover it up. They want to hide it from the general public. So they demonize people that are trying to investigate and find the truth. And like for Candace Owens, for example, Candace Owens, who has been doing real deep dives into this, and I give credit to the fact that Candace Owens seems to be the only person that's willing to reach out to investigate this. Even the haters of Candace Owens. Again, you can agree or disagree with her findings. But I said to the people that are, up in arms about Candace Owens and trying to silence her out is, where's your investigation? Where's your proof to prove that Candace Owens is lying? They won't do it. Well, they say people should not listen to Candace Owens. And she says, don't worry about the gag order in the Charlie Kirk case. I plan to violate it on the world's behalf. The things I discovered this past week are enough to burn the house down. Yes, Charlie was betrayed by everyone. That's what Candace Owens is saying. Candace Owens, who was a friend of Charlie Kirk's, who attended Turning Point USA, who talked with Charlie Kirk, who has exposed text messages and has done deep dives on her show. That's what she's saying, that he was betrayed by everybody. He was betrayed by Turning Point USA. He was definitely betrayed by donors. He was betrayed by the Trump administration. And he's even more betrayed now, because the same administration that claimed that they were friends with Charlie Kirk and they idolized him and they went to his memorial, the same people that love and adore and respect Charlie Kirk are now using his identity, his legacy, and his and all the momentum that Charlie Kirk built with this movement to try to silence Americans. They're trying to go after people for hate speech under Charlie Kirk's name, but they know that Charlie Kirk actually defended hate speech, because hate speech is a part of the First Amendment. It is part of a constitutional right. So the Trump administration definitely is betraying Charlie Kirk. We know that Turning Point USA is trying to cover this up. Erica Kirk, his widow wife, has some suspicion. There's been investigative reports on her background, her involvement into an orphanage and child trafficking with her family, and even her just covering up the fact that, she's not trying to get to the bottom of it. She's not trying to, go after Kash Patel and the lies that he's spewing. She's not concerned about this. And if Candace Owens was truly lying in her work, wouldn't you think Erica Kirk would go after her? But no, Erica Kirk's allowing her to go on her show and talk about this. So obviously, Candace Owens is doing something right. Candace is doing something right that the people don't want exposed. So here is an article here. This is from BP Daily, not the British Petroleum Company, but another BP. It says, burn down the house. Candace Owens promised she'll violate gag order in Charlie Kirk case. Conservative commentator Candace Owens is once again at the center of controversy, this time over her outspoken role in the aftermath of Charlie Kirk's murder. Weeks after the high-profile shooting in Utah, Owens has positioned herself as one of Kirk's most vocal defenders, as she publicly vowed to defy a judge's gag order in the case of the state versus Tyler Robinson. Tyler Robinson, 22, was arrested and charged with Kirk's murder. Last month, 4th District Court Judge Tony Graff issued a gag order on the proceedings of Kirk's murder case, forbidding anyone associated with the case from speaking to news media. Explaining the gag, Graff said, the court will rule that those witnesses become known to each side, that the information is convened to abide by this order. Obviously, there are potentially many witnesses, and it's not the expectation, that you would do that up front because of their known. So he's putting a blanketed gag order for people to talk about this. It seems very, very suspicious. So something like this that could be useful information into the investigation, this would be silenced out. So this guy, Hustle Bitch, says, someone asked Kash Patel this right now. If Tyler Robinson was caught on camera running through the UVU courtyard at 12:23 p.m., how the hell was he on the Luce rooftop at the same second? 2 places, 1 timestamp. either the FBI footage is fake or the entire story is. So there, right there, they got highlighted, is they believe Tyler Robinson running away. But at the same time, the same timestamp, supposedly they have evidence to prove that he was on the roof. So how can someone that that's the same clothes that Tyler Robinson was wearing going to the campus, how is he able to run away on foot on the ground and be on the rooftop at the same time? But thanks to the judge's ruling, we're not allowed to talk about this. So that's part of the investigation that should be addressed. So here's this also too. This is from Project Constitution. It says, shocking cover-up. Utah judges in Kirk assassination trial drop secret gag order to silence witnesses. But wait, Israeli IP hits on them months before the hit. Judge swaps smells like a setup. So that's the Google trends that we showed you before. That IP addresses from Washington, D.C. and Israel were Google searching the hospital, Tyler Robinson, and the Utah campus months prior to the assassination. That's also part of the investigation that should be addressed, that Kash Patel is trying to silence out and discredit as conspiracy theorist. And this person saying that the judge swap smells like a setup. In the trial for Tyler Robinson, for Kirk's September 10th UVU murder, Judge Tony Graff, now presiding, and his predecessor, Robert Lunnan, were hit with unique Google searches from Israeli IP addresses. No kidding. No kidding. So they looked up the hospital, they looked up Tyler Robinson, and apparently they also looked up and Google searched these judges. Interesting. I'm not jumping to any conclusions, but this should be part of the conversation, definitely. Lunan on May 15th, Graff on July 26th, before the assassination. 0 Utah-based searches on either until after Kirk's death, coincidence, or foreign intel scouting the bench. Lunan retires on August 1st. Graff sides on August 4th, the exact day SLC FBI boss Metab Syed gets yanked. Timing's a red flag parade. But here's the killer on December, I think that's supposed to be October, because that wouldn't make sense, December 16th. So that's October 16th, 2025, or maybe it's September. Maybe that makes sense, September 16th. Graff drops an unprecedented gag order on his own motion, no request for prosecution or defense. It muzzles all witnesses, future lawyers, staff, and even non-case attorneys in their firms, binds lawyers to police witnesses' mouths, imputes blame for extrajudicial chatter, routine and high-profile cases. Sure, but this is a sledgehammer on First Amendment rights, tainted jury pools as pretext while burying the truth. Defense should fight back. Our independent sleuths, you, me, the Charlie Kirk Investigation Committee, are Robinson's best shot at exposing the web. Utah elites, shady vans, patches. But crickets from the media. A month in, no challenges. Where's the press corps' spine? This isn't protecting due process. It's a blackout on justice. I'm game to sue if there's a deep pocket patriot who wants to foot the bill for an attorney. I volunteer to challenge and torch this order. So they're trying to cover up something. They're trying to cover up the growing suspicion that there's definitely a deep connection between Israel, Turning Point USA, Utah Valley University, the CIA and the FBI, the intelligence agencies, and Tyler Robinson. they're trying to cover up this patsy. So this patsy, Tyler Robinson, could be sent without process, without due diligence, to be sent away to a possible death penalty for a crime that he may not even be a part of. But he was a patsy for. Just like the first guy that they tried to accuse of, the George Zinn guy, who had his pants down screaming at the top of his lungs, "Kill me, kill me, kill me." He's able to get away. And no one can question him now because supposedly, as they were trying to investigate that, they recently found that he had child porn on his computer. So now he's no longer able to talk. Go figure. So this is definitely a major cover-up. Sure, it may be a high-order crime. Yes, it may be a court case of national security interest. But the fact that they're doing a baseless gag order onto individuals so they're not allowed to speak, including people like Candace Owens and Project Constitution, we suspect that they're trying deliberately to cover this up for a nefarious reason, that they know something that we're not allowed to know, that Kash Patel is not telling us, and that's why he's slamming down on people. In that interview, let's show people actually that. So here's Kash Patel. They're trying to fast track the prosecution of Tyler Robinson and then tell people that if you have questions or concerns about that, you're a conspiracy theorist. Take a look at this.
I think that the militant trans issue really became familiar to the American people last month when Charlie Kirk was killed. I mean, you guys at breakneck speed found this guy, you identified him, you profiled the type of person that he would be, and that's incredible. Is there more evidence that you guys can offer to people, maybe video from that roof? Do you expect that there will be more to be released?
I think the best thing we can do for Charlie, especially me as FBI director and our team, is to prosecute this case in the courts of law, wherever it is, in Utah, in the state of court of law. And what we're going to do is what we've done. Give them every piece of evidence we collect. Our cellular analysis systems are the best in the world, and that's what the FBI does, and that's what we flew in and did. That's how we led the manhunt and got him in 33 short hours. And every single piece of video or forensic evidence or witness interview, we've done dozens and dozens, gone on these platforms, found every single person. All of that material, and I know this is frustrating to the public, and I understand it, but I'm not going to allow the Charlie Kirk prosecution to be dismantled because we want to get over our skis and publicize information. That is the one thing you cannot do. We will make everything public in court. It just takes time.
So that's Kash Patel telling people, hey, we're not going to allow for the general public and for people, investigative journalists and other people, to find evidence or to examine or to have their own suspicions on this case, because we want to fully prosecute Tyler Robinson and get away with it. As he's trying to lie to you, that was a full-out lie. First of all, the FBI did not catch Tyler Robinson. It was his father that told the FBI, because Tyler Robinson confessed to his father, allegedly, but Tyler Robinson is not confessing to the FBI. And supposedly there was a text chain between Tyler Robinson and his supposed lover, his trans lover, that looked like it was written by ChatGPT. Then now they can't find the lover. Now he's disappeared. And so is this apparent note that Tyler Robinson wrote to his trans lover, stating that he was going to commit the crime against Charlie Kirk. They claim that that's what that note says, but they have no evidence to prove that note exists. So Kash Patel is lying to you. The FBI is lying to you. Once again, the entire intelligence agency is trying to cover up something. It's very suspicious about these Google Trend alerts. It's very suspicious about Bill Ackman and Turning Point USA. It's very suspicious that they're trying to cover up and not highlight the fact that Charlie Kirk, in his final days, was confronting the pro-Israel lobbies and confronting his growing suspicions about Israel, and actually having some sort of remorse, having some sort of epiphanal moment. They're not telling you about that. And there's people demonizing Candace Owens, but they're not providing context. They're not providing evidence. They're not providing an argument. So this whole thing, this whole entire criminal case just reeks of a malice cover-up from head to toe, whether it being the United States part of it, whether it's Israel trying to cover their marks in this. I don't know what it could be. And we're not allowed to talk about it, apparently, according to this judge. But it is very, very, very suspicious that we are not allowed to have a conversation, to expose new information, to bring a conversation on why exactly Charlie Kirk was assassinated on September 10th. We're not allowed to expose it. We're not allowed to talk about this, even though this is the biggest news story that we've seen on camera. Went across social media. Just like we weren't allowed to talk about the Trump assassination. We're still not allowed to talk about it. We're still not allowed to talk about what happened in Butler, Pennsylvania. You're supposed to go with the flow. We're supposed to just prosecute people that the FBI deems as evil, not have any evidence to back those claims, and just shut up about it, because anyone that adds to the conversation is a crazy lunatic. That's what they're trying to do here. So here's Ryan Mata. He's another great, fantastic investigative journalist. He's dug into a lot of information on Charlie Kirk and the assassination. And now he says, now the judge in the Charlie Kirk assassination thinks he can gag Candace Owens from reporting on the Charlie Kirk assassination because she was friends with Charlie Kirk. This entire trial is a hoax. This isn't justice. This is a gosh darn cover-up. So here's Ryan Mata explaining that this whole gag order is a massive cover-up and a conspiracy within itself. Listen to this.
I just want to start off by saying whoever's controlling this psyop around the Charlie Kirk assassination, like, you guys couldn't make it any more obvious that you guys are hiding something and that you guys are completely full of shit and most likely covering up the assassination of Charlie Kirk on behalf of Israel, a foreign intelligence agency, or our own military, our CIA, who literally assassinated a U.S. citizen on U.S. soil in front of the entire world. He publicly executed Charlie Kirk in front of the entire world. Maybe to send a message, I don't know. But when you're going to hear this story by Ian, I mean, Ian's done such a great job, man. I really want to get this guy a massive amount of credit. He goes by @IWENDTSTER. I can't even say that last. Wenster, if I'm saying that right. Ian Wenster, or Ian @iWenster over here. He put out this tweet. He says, proof that Charlie Kirk security told local law enforcement they didn't need to work with them, and that over a month ago, local Leos and everybody involved were already being told to stay quiet. A month before the official gag orders. So, is it about a fair trial for Tyler? What do you guys think's going on here? Some shit's just not adding up to me. I want to know what you guys think, and I want you guys to check out this video by Ian. He's absolutely crushing it. I'll leave links to it below. Make sure you swing down there and give this man a follow. Check this out.
Bet you didn't see this. Now, truth be told, this part you've probably already seen. It happened yesterday. However, I can guarantee you didn't see the part that follows.
This is bad. This is real bad. Even mainstream media is calling this one of the most secretive trials in history. The judge is making...
I just want to say, this is kind of eerie that I'm watching a video of a guy watching a video of a guy watching Alex Jones. That's kind of spooky, isn't it? That's kind of like meta, almost like that. We're referring to Ryan Mata's video, and Ryan Mata is referring to this guy Ian. This guy Ian is digging up what Alex Jones is saying. Kind of interesting.
Everything secret. With gag orders, including the police reports and 3,000 witnesses, associates, or anyone that knew Charlie Kirk. They're saying effectively any talk show host that knew him or talked to him is under gag order.
Sorry, guys. Been sick a couple days and saw this yesterday, but I wanted to verify that it was actually real because I couldn't believe what I was seeing. But alas, it's real. Watch this.
There is a substantial amount of discovery in this case, Your Honor. It's voluminous, to say the least.
His lawyers entered their formal appearance and declined to waive his right to a preliminary hearing. Judge Tony Graff has issued a gag order.
Okay, so that's we already saw that part. So there you go. So they're intentionally doing this gag order to cover up the fact. And what's also being pointed out is that the law enforcement, the people that initially were investigating the Charlie Kirk murder, as it was happening, were told to hush up. They were told to comply. They were told to hush up. They were told to stay silent. They were told to go with the flow, get Tyler Robinson, get him prosecuted, and shut the hell up. Do not investigate. Do not look into any more details. Do not ask the college campus if they have any more CCTV footage. And, you know, the campus was already doing construction work immediately after Charlie Kirk was murdered. They were contaminating a crime scene with construction work. And the campus responded with, well, we already had it scheduled. We already had scheduled that there was going to be renovations, specifically in the area that Charlie Kirk was gunned down. And they didn't do a proper investigation. You saw the Turning Point USA employee disassembling a camera that had critical footage that could have been useful in the FBI's investigation, but they're not concerned about that. And now you have Kash Patel, and now this judge ordering people to shut the hell up about this case. So obviously something is suspicious about it. I don't know if it's Israel. I don't know who's involved with this. There's a lot of details that are being avoided. There's a lot of details that need to be part of this conversation. But I know for a fact that the official narrative, the official story is complete bunk from the get-go. It's complete bunk from the get-go. We saw it the moment it got announced that it was going to be full of holes, that there's not going to be a follow-through on this, and they're definitely trying to cover up something even larger than what is originally perceived. So I wish Candace Owens, I wish people the best when it comes to this gag order. I don't know what's going to happen further with this, but it does seem very, very suspicious that this judge immediately puts on a gag order to silence people discussing about this case. And especially people like Candace Owens, who has done deep dives into the investigation within just the Charlie Kirk murder, not just with Tyler Robinson, but just in the murder itself, that is being completely avoided to cover something, to cover some conspiracy that we're not allowed to know. And that is just absolutely suspicious, dark, and daunting. And it wouldn't be strange for the FBI to do that, because they've done it since JFK. They've done it with MLK. They did with the assassination of John Lennon. They've done it numerous times before. They did it with January 6th. They've done it with the fake kidnapping of Gretchen Whitmer. Like, they have notoriously lied to you time and time, over and over again. How do you expect this to be any different? That they're going to lie to you. They're covering up something. They don't want exposure. They don't want the public to know. So immediately they get this judge to put a gag order to tell people enough's enough, shut the hell up. And if you go and defy it, then you will be prosecuted for violating that gag order. How eerie that is.